What up, wizards? It's Scrooge McDuckets, aka Tommy Fistfuls, aka Mr. Greensleeves over here. What I'm trying to say is that your boy, as you know, is rich. As a matter of fact, I'm not at all. I'm very broke. It's quite the opposite, in fact. Maybe check out the Patreon. Help is all I'm saying. But anyway, even I, in all my brokenness, can scrounge up $5 to spend on each new Magic. Well, not each new Magic set. That would be thousands of dollars a year. But whenever a set comes out that I really like, I try to throw some change together and get $5 worth of cards. Now, of course, it is May, so that means we're going to spend $5 on Mom. Not your mom. She's not worth $5. I would drop the mic here, but it's really expensive mic, so just pretend that I did. But yeah, we're going to spend $5 on March of the Machines. And as usual, we can kind of get a lot for $5. It's sort of the entire point of the series. So we were able to pick up 10 whole cards from this set today. So if you want to stick around and see what they are, that's the video. So I hope you stay for that. Here's the intro. And I'm your favorite Magic Channel's favorite Magic Channel. Best believe that the professor go bananas for my deck tech. Back again, return of the Mac, top of the world, return of the, oh my God. Anyway, we got to talk about some Magic cards. It can't just be me singing and dancing all day, although I would have fun with that. But let's talk about what we got for our $5. Now, first of all, we have to talk about the rules to this. I do it every time, but I assume that at least like 4 of you are here for the first time. So in case you want to know what the rules are to this endeavor, I can spend $5, but actually I can spend a little bit more than that. There's some leeway here. If I had to hit it bang on $5, that would be really hard. So I can spend $5.25. But once I've hit $5, I have to stop ordering cards. I can't hit $5.15 and be like, I can buy an 8-cent card. No, you can't. No, you can't do that. You've hit $5. So you has to stop. That's the entire rule set. So let's look at some cards once again. The song's going to be in my head all day now. I'm sorry for doing that to you too. But what did we do first here? Now you might think, since, hey, we got 10 cards for $5, Dev made some sound financial decisions here. No, I did not actually. The first thing I did was blow half of the budget entirely on one card, and that was the showcase version of Ziminy and Dino. You know, every now and again I see a card during spoiler season and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy that card. I'm going to own that, guaranteed. And this time, this was that card. I mean, if this had been $5, this video would have been like, I spent $5 on Mom. This card. If this card would have been $7, this video would have been, I spent $7 on Mom. And so I would have just broken the rules, right? But one way or the other, I knew that I had to have this thing. I don't build a ton of Commander decks, but this is probably going to be my next Commander deck now. Especially since I spent almost $250 on it. That's a lot to spend on one card for me. I know it's not for everybody, but $2.50 for a piece of cardboard, especially a new one, is kind of a lot. I think it might be the most or close to the most that we've ever spent on a single card for one of these videos, but I have good reasons. And I could list all those reasons, but honestly, they just all boil down to, oh my God, you see how cool this card is? So this is one of those that I knew we were going to get from the get-go. And I'm not upset about my decision at all. There's no buyer's remorse here. I'm glad. I'm happy to have this card. This is going to sound eerily familiar if you remember the last 2 minutes of the video, but you know, every now and again a card comes along in spoiler season and I'm like, I'm going to buy that. And this set actually had multiples of those, and another one of them was Croxa and Kunaros. I spent almost $1 on this card, like 89 cents, but again, I think it's worth it. First of all, another playable Commander if I want to do that, and I kind of do just a little bit, but also Mardu is lacking a little bit. In one of my cubes, I have a cube that has 10 different slots so that each 3-color combination gets 1 card, and I'm not even sure what's in there for Mardu right now. I think it's Crackling Doom, which is a good card, but it's no Croxa and Kunaros. This is going to open up some interesting possibilities in that cube, so I'm kind of excited for that. Here comes a cat. I hope it's a cat, not an invisible person. Well, I checked, and it wasn't a cat, so my money is on Invisible Person. Chicken is going to check it out right now. I hope I'm safe. But anyway, yeah, I know these videos often evolve into me being like, well, this is a cool card. Check out this cool card we got. Oh, and this other card's cool too. But honestly, the first couple of cards, especially the ones that I spend the most money on, are often cards that that's exactly how I feel about them, and I can't really help that. You know what's funny about me as a Magic player is that often during spoiler season, I'm like, this card costs more than 3 mana and dies to removal, and it can be countered, and it doesn't have wards, so it's terrible. I kind of have the reputation of being like, weird when it comes to reviewing cards. I'm not spiky enough for some people. I'm way too spiky for other people. And when the thing is, the dichotomy there is that when it comes to ordering cards for myself that I want to own, I don't care. I just want the card to be cool. And then I spent a quarter, which I feel like is a steal, on a copy of Mtg. Now, they didn't have the showcase frame. At least the seller I was looking at didn't have it. You got to get that free shipping, spend at least $5 with one seller. It's how you do it. But pro tip. Anyway, my seller didn't have the showcase Mtg. I was really disappointed in that, but I still wanted a copy of Mtg. Again, for the cube, definitely this time. I feel like this is a great Azorius card for cubes. Most cubes in most limited environments, period, are going to have like a blue-white Flyers deck, and this is just really, really good in any blue-white Flyers deck, obviously. So I feel like in a pretty classic draft archetypes that most cubes accommodate, right? This card's just like really sick, but also, here's the thing, 25 cents. Seems like a really good deal to me. I mean, I'm not sure this is going to be like the most popular commander in the set and take off. And after the set's out of print in 3 years, suddenly it's a $5 card. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure this is a pretty popular looking commander. And if nothing else, it's probably going to be in the 99 of a bunch of decks. So I felt like a quarter was a really good deal on this card. I picked it up. And then I picked up a Hidetsugu and Kairi. Yeah, you might be noticing a trend here. I picked up a lot of these like tag team legends, but this is the last one. I just bought the 4 that I wanted and were cheaper than I expected. Well, 2 of them were cheaper than I expected. And this is one of them. I really didn't think this was going to be like 20 cents, but here we are. This is another one that I feel like is bound to go up just because like it's pretty playable in standard. The card is just like hardcore, like 93 octane gas. It's really, with the octane boost that you get at AutoZone, gives you like an extra 7 octane. We used to do that back in the day. We were dumb. But anyway, it's just a good Magic card on a bunch of levels. I might make a commander deck around this one day. I might put it in cube in one of my 3 Dimir slots in the main cube. You know, there's a few things I might do with this, but what I know I wanted to do was own the card one way or the other, especially at the price tag of 20 cents. It's less than 1 American quarter to own a card that I know for a fact is good. And if I ever wanted to just put together a dumb old blue-black kitchen table deck like we used to do back in the day. Here's some tears and counter spells and a Cinder Vampire. I win the game. If I ever wanted to do that again and just have some good old-fashioned fun playing some Magic with Brittany or something like that, this card would be great as a top-end finisher. It's better than Cinder Vampire at 5 mana, at least, but it doesn't have that same hit of nostalgia you get from playing Cinder. But you also don't have to look at a weirdo licking veins and stuff, so that's probably a better card just for that reason. Anyway, it's a great card, isn't it? Isn't this a great text box for only 20 cents? I had to get a copy. Now, next I got another legendary creature. Sorry about that, but at least this one's by himself. I got a Contorious Lore Master. By the way, I heard that you got your Spark. You become a Planeswalker at some point. Very proud of my man. But anyway, this is a very cool card. This is one that, again, I could eventually build a commander deck around. I feel like if you're going to build Boros in commander, this is a really interesting one that's like, it's not just like some combat commander. You know what I mean? I really like the idea of that, but mostly I got this for cube. It's definitely slotting in the moment it arrives in the mail because, like I said during our last cube video, I don't know if you're here for that, but Boros sucks in my cube. All my Boros cards suck, and the secret behind that is that most Boros cards kind of suck. I don't have like a Lightning Helix or any of the stuff you're supposed to have because I kind of find it cheesy and boring and stuff. So I want to flesh out these gold slots, especially in my cube, with like interesting dynamic cards that do different things. You can build decks around them or whatever. And I think Quintorius just kind of does all of that stuff. It's a strong card. It's kind of difficult to deal with removal wise, but stays on the table for a turn or two, especially if the deck is built around it. You can just do nasty, disgusting things, which makes me want to build a commander deck around it. But I especially want to see how this does in draft. And it's going to give a little bit of new life to Boros in my cube, which is a color it's a color pair at least no one ever drafts out of my cube. But this will attract me, if nothing else, to Boros. And so can't wait to see you in a cube pack, buddy. I'm gonna play with you. But anyway, I really can't wait till this card gets here. It's actually low-key one of my favorite cards in the entire set. Next, I got a card you probably haven't heard of, Stormclaw Rager. This was only 12 cents, which is probably not a great deal. I could probably get this for 7 cents or something like that, 2 weeks from now or whatever, probably even sooner. But I still just kind of really like this card. I'm not sure that it slots into my cube. It doesn't really slot into any of my existing commander decks, although you could make an argument for it in Judith. I still have Judith when we made that deck for the channel like 2 years ago. And I've still got it collecting dust in a box somewhere. I haven't played with it in a while. But you could make an argument this slots into that deck. But it's just a card that I really like. You know, I like sacking stuff. I think that it's not too far off of rate by itself. I'm a little surprised I haven't heard anybody talk about this card like at all, because it's actually a little bit sweet, kind of. I, again, especially think it's really good in a draft environment where your cards should be a little powered down for the most part. I mean, you have some good cards in your cube, right? But you don't want everything to be like outrageous. And I think this hits a really good level of power. And I just kind of wanted to have a copy. I know it's nothing special, but this is kind of one of those like sleepers that wasn't in the sleeper video that I just like think is kind of cool, but probably won't ever see play. So if it's going to see play anywhere, it's going to be in my dang cube or in one of my, again, like kitchen table decks or something. Sometimes that's why you order cards. And then sometimes you order them for that sweet speculation, baby. I ordered a foil Marshal of Zhalfir over here for like 28 cents, which I thought was very good. I'm not sure that this is going to like definitely appreciate in value anytime soon, but I can imagine in a few years when the set's out of print, Knights Commander decks are still like a passing thing you see every now and again, especially if a Boss Knight gets printed at some point that's like really good in Commander or something, and is a great like Commander itself, anything like that. If Knights decks become more real and, you know, prevalent in Commander, a card like this is going to be incredible so long as it's in the right color combination. And blue-white is probably not the most prevalent color combination in Knights, but I still felt like this was a pretty good buy at just like a little over 1/4 for a foil Lord. Basically, you know, it's an anthem effect on a body, and sometimes those can get up pretty high, especially again after the set's not in standard anymore. The card's a little bit more scarce. That's also actually the case with number 8. I just kind of wanted Interdisciplinary Mascot because this card was a whole 15 cents, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. There's a card like this in like every set. I think it was like Serum Sculptor, Serum Seeker, or something like that. I've got it. It's around here somewhere. It came in the last order. It was like literally in the last set. But there's always a card that just looks dumb, bulk rare, but like I gotta have it for some reason. Like I think there's something to this, again, especially in cube when you're talking about a limited environment. I think this card looks even better in kind of a dirtly cube draft where you got some tokens or whatever and just whatever. I think it's kind of good there, but I also think there's some Commander decks that could probably leverage this pretty well. You know, like it's actually like a pretty big creature that casts Impulse when it comes into play. And like, am I crazy for thinking that's pretty good? I kind of want that in my collection, even if it's just one of. Again, I could see building some Commander decks that like might actually want this thing. So I felt like 15 cents. I'm trying to spend $5. I got to spend $5. I felt like 15 cents was just exactly the right price to own a copy of this. But then I realized we had almost 60 cents left to spend, so I had to buy a couple of heavy hitters for our last few cards. We ended up with a Guardian of Girapur. I didn't know I could afford a Guardian of Girapur, but when I realized I could, I bought one. This is one of those just like a potential multi-format all-stars. Everything I want to do in Magic, I can play this card. If I ever want to put together a standard deck in paper in my life again, then I could do this. I proxy up a bunch of decks, like testing on the channel, but I rarely actually buy a standard deck, aside from like a few of the $5 decks. I'll buy those. But anyway, now I'm getting into like channel lore. This wasn't pure speculation, but I wouldn't be surprised or unhappy if the card went up $1 or $2. But if that doesn't happen, I'll still be pretty happy with the purchase. Oh man, we only bought one more card in this video, but I got to tell you, I am fading a little bit. I could use a little bit of an energy boost. What I would like to do is just find a nice, calm, secluded spot, sit down, and have myself a nice little coffee break. This week on the coffee break, we'll be looking at the most expensive cards in March of the Machine. Now, some of these may surprise you because the most expensive cards in the set are not, in fact, cards with text at all. Some of the most expensive cards in the set are the Japanese exclusive tokens. The Dino Gold Stamp token is $125 through a seller on TCG Player right now. Other listings have Soldier and Monk tokens at $35 and $28 respectively. Those are some very expensive tokens. Meanwhile, you can find a serialized version of Elish Norn online for just $2,400. There's also a seller on TCG Player selling a serialized Shieldred for $7,777 at time of recording. But don't be fooled. That is only one seller, and they are the only seller that does not have a picture of their serialized Shieldred. A little weird. Most Shieldreds that are serialized are going for $2,500. This is, of course, still far too much money. So let's take a look at all of the cards over $10 in this set. Right now, the most expensive card in the set is the normal printing of Elish Norn at $18.50, followed by Shieldred at $18. Both of these are the normal printings and not the fancy printings, which I think is interesting. Aside from that, following them up is Urabrask at the number 3 slot, $16 for an Urabrask. Invasion of Ikoria is not only the next card, but is also somehow the most expensive invasion at $14.35. Ren and Realmbreaker is the most expensive Planeswalker in the set at $13.45. And finally, Fairy Mastermind is the final card above $10, sitting pretty at $11. That is all for the coffee break this week. We hope you found your time here refreshing. Now send it back to Dev with the final card that he purchased with his $5 bill. Oh, that was refreshing. I am refreshed. So let's look at the final card that we bought, because we had 20 cents left, or at least I could still spend 20 cents. It's kind of a difference there. But anyway, we bought an Ayara. That's right. I could afford this card. It was only 20 cents for this card. Now, here's the deal. One thing you may have noticed, if you're very perceptive, or even just a little perceptive, is that I didn't buy any double face cards in a set full of cards that transform. Like, a lot of the cards in the set transform. I didn't buy a single one of them except for this card. And that's because I don't usually like cards that transform in cubes, or my commander decks for that matter. I honestly don't even like to sleeve my commander decks if I don't have to. I like the authentic feel of playing with unsleeved Magic cards like I did when I was 12. We've been through this before. I don't like to sleeve my cards, but I have through public pressure, I have sleeved the cube that I've shown you most recently. I understand that you need to see cards sleeved or it makes you angry. I get that now. That said, I don't usually sleeve my cards when I play casually, and I detest cards that force me to, that presume I'm playing with sleeves. So I don't actually love double face stuff. I don't like flipping cards in sleeves and stuff like that. But for Ayara, I'll do it. I'll do it for her. Speaking of stuff that goes in Judith, this is getting sleeved up the moment it arrives. So, and yes, the Judith deck is in sleeves. But anyway, I just think this card is awesome, and I did not expect that I would be able to afford it after I've already bought 9 other cards. But again, 20 cents for this feels like a freaking steal. It's just a sweet Magic card, and I'm sure a lot of Commander players are going to want this thing. But here, everybody, is our cart, in case you wanted that kind of proof. I know you don't because you're normal and chill, but a lot of people on the internet need proof for these kind of claims, which I guess makes sense, but it also feels kind of weird to me. It was $5.12 for all of these cards as you have seen on your screen at this point. So, but that's kind of part of the point of these videos, is that it was only $5.12 for all of these cards. We got Zimini and Dina, Croxy and Kuneros, Hidetsugu and Kairi. We got an Ayara. We got a Girapur, Guardian of Girapur. We got so many awesome cards. And it was like right around the price of a booster pack. So I guess as usual, the lesson is maybe don't buy booster packs. You don't even have to spend, you don't have to buy a Shieldred. It's like $16, $18 for a Shieldred. You don't have to do that. You can get really cool cards. A lot of them, in fact, for just $5. All it takes is scrounging some change out of the couch. That would be a lot of change to have in the couch. But you know the point I'm trying to make here. It doesn't take much to kind of get a lot. But anyway, we got to get ready to wrap things up. Don't worry. We're going to be doing the couch card of the day. I know that anyone still watching the video is here exclusively for that. But while I got a captive audience, I should do a little bit more self-promotion. You can scrub through it if you want to. I hope you don't. That's dishonorable. But still, if you want to, I'm not going to be super mad at you. But one way or the other, just do all the YouTube stuff. Hit the like button on your way out before you hit the lights. Get your gym bag and head home and all that. Just hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't done that yet. I meant what I said at the beginning of the video. I'm very broke. I need money. So check out the Patreon, link in the description. Your support means a great deal to me. And all I really ask is $1 a month. And I'll let you vote on stuff around here on the channel. I always want to say, that's like $1 a month. That's a soda a month or an order of fries a month. Those things are like $2 or $3 nowadays. I would say the Patreon is like the only thing that hasn't been affected by inflation. So it's just still $1 a month to support the channel, and it does a great deal to do so. So I'd appreciate your support. thanks a lot for hearing me out. You can also, by the way, watch me do magic stuff on Twitch. It's also at this address, link in the description. This time it's important to say that because on Tuesday night, we're going to be looking at the first wave of official, not leaked, official March of the Machine Aftermath previews. And then after that, those will be on YouTube. But if you want to catch it live, you can. On Tuesday night, we're going to be looking at the new cards. But I have held you hostage long enough. I know why you're here. I'm here for it too. I want to know what card I pull. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. Do we have good luck today? Let's get down in that stack and see what we get. Bam. What is this? I've already put, it's so weird. I pulled a Monastery Swiss Sphere like a couple of videos ago, didn't I? I feel like I've already pulled a Monastery Swiss Sphere. I feel like I've done that. That can't count. I can't. How do I? That's insane. There's like 2,000 cards on the couch, and like 3 of them are Monastery Swiss Spheres, and I pulled 2 Monastery Swiss Spheres. What's this card? This card is a Gyre Sage. Hey, remember this card? Remember when this card was going to be really good? We all thought it might be. This is Gyre Sage is 2 mana. It's a 1 and a green for a 1/2 elf druid with Evolve. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, if that creature has greater power or toughness than this creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. You can also tap to add a green for each +1/+1 counter on Gyre Sage. So we just thought on turn 2 you play Gyre Sage, and then on turn 3 you play a thing that's bigger than it, all right? And then it can tap for a green. Okay. Well, on the next turn, you can play something that's bigger than it again, and it taps for 2 green mana. That's a busted card. The card's going to be the best card in the world. Nobody cares. Nobody really ever cared about Gyre Sage, and it's sad because it still looks like a decent card to me. But anyway, maybe Elf Commander decks. That's probably why I have it in the first place. Anyway, Gyre Sage isn't a bad pull. I like it, but notice that I didn't sleeve it. Anyway, that's all I got for this one. Hope you enjoyed all of the things that we do here. Coffee break, couch card of the day, the actual content of the video, my ugly mug, whatever you like about the channel. I'm just glad you're here for it. But that's all we got for this one. We're going to be having more deck techs and lists soon, so check that out. And obviously, March of the Machine Aftermath spoilers tomorrow, so get ready for that. Anyway, I'm donezo for this one, so I'll catch you cats later. I'm Deb from The Place. Thanks for watching, Wizards. Spread love and be kind.